Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. Given the train wreck that 2022 was, many were taken by surprise when we had quite a launch to 2023. Bitcoin up from its lows, XRP up from its lows. Pick your crypto, it's probably up from its lows. But it doesn't take much negative price action to get this, what to me is anyway, a hilarious narrative shift in crypto media. How many of you out there saw my videos in recent weeks where I was highlighting how there's just this flurry of nothing but positive price action articles for XRP? They were so easy to find, dime a dozen. They were almost nowhere to be found in 2022 with, there are some exceptions, of course. Not saying there's literally zero, but what have we seen now within the last week in particular? Well, let me just give you a couple examples here at the outset of the video. Here's one from you today. XRP looks desperate as asset. And by the way, for those of you that saw my videos where I was pointing out all of the just glowing headlines, it should be extra funny for you can see just how ridiculous our crypto media. It is what it is though. Here's another one from the Crypto Basic. Whales move 630 million tokens in 3 hours as XRP risks a drop. Oh my God, how am I going to sleep at night? I don't even know what to do with my hands right now. Are you kidding me, son? Like, look at this. So, like, the idea that they're trying to get across here is that the whales, which, by the way, generally speaking, they are, the way they behave, to me, I think it's fair to say they're generally behaving a bit more responsibly. And, I think that they're able to control their emotions. I think they have a better understanding of finance in general. They're a bit more sophisticated than the typical lemming retail speculators out there. And so what are you to believe upon reading this headline, that a bunch of whales moving 630 million XRP tokens in just 3 hours, it's going to go to an exchange and it's all going to dump because that's about what almost close to what you'd expect today anyway, in terms of total global volume. And it's all gonna go. Well, actually, in terms of dollars, it's more like half that, but still, you get the point. It's like a boatload of it. No, folks. And in fact, to the contrary, I'm going to show you some positive action because even though, yes, fair enough to state, let's live in reality, price action hasn't been so hot for the last week or so, and there have been outflows on an institutional level during that shortened time period. That's not the case for XRP, actually. Let me show you some data because I think you'll like it. And then we can just not fall for the trap set by anybody that wants to scare you into making a stupid emotional financial decision. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say, all right? I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. So you can see if you're looking at the screen here, as I scroll down to the top 50 cryptos by market cap, we've got a sea of red, but it's not a very deep sea. It's actually more like a puddle of red. We've got a little puddle of red with most coins down, less than 1%, or many of them anyway. XRP down 0.1% over the last 24 hours. For example, it's at 37 cents. Bitcoin at $23,323. Market cap for the asset class still a little under 1.1 trillion. Bitcoin dominance doing what it's been doing for most of the last 30 days, 41.6%. And the Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 53 out of 100. So anyway, slice and dice it, much better than much of what we went through in 2022. Much, much, much better. And it's interesting to see, look, I understand it's more fun and more exciting. Obviously, I'll acknowledge this when we're having the euphoric moves to the upside, but it's most important to pay attention to what's happening when we're in a bear market, because that's a time when everything's on sale and you can position yourself. And I think that's true whether you're talking about investing in the stock market or investing in crypto. Doesn't particularly matter. But Will Clemente, on-chain analyst, cited something, and this is a concept I have shared before, but I like the way he articulated this, and I might have to steal his term here. Actually, I don't even know for sure if he came up with it. But what he's showing here is a Bitcoin number of active addresses, 30-day moving average, and that's overlaid on top of a Bitcoin price going back to 2013. So you got a decade of data here. And it's really interesting to see the correlation here. Might there be a reason for this? And so what he wrote here is, during every bear market, short-term tourists leave, but an increasing number of Bitcoin network users stick around. This is the signal. And so you can see the correlation there for those of you that care to look, but This is true of crypto in general. I thought about this in terms of myself when I jumped into crypto in November 2017. It was pretty clear the bubble had popped. By by January, it was pretty damn clear the bubble had popped just in a general sense. There's some coins that were actually technically still taking off because of alt season, okay, but it was pretty darn clear like the party's pretty much over here. And I found myself as one of the people that was sticking around while everybody else just exited stage left. And so that behavior, all those people that were super excited in 2017, they're now gone. And I'm like, but this is cool and awesome. Are you kidding me? Like, this is the time to pay attention. And I as a result, ended up dollar cost averaging into XRP beginning later in that year after I'd already bought some, once it got down to about 55 cents. But you had that happen then. And then what did you have happen again? After all the excitement in 2021, mass hysteria. Now, it seems to me as though over 75% of the people, maybe 80% of the people that were regularly paying attention to crypto in general on social media, they just stopped paying attention. So even if they still hold crypto, and I'm not saying all of them necessarily sold everything and panic sold and got out, but these are not true enthusiasts. These are not people that are paying attention to what's happening in finance in general. They probably treat the stock market about the same if they're in the stock market. They're tourists. That is a perfect way to put it. And this is a concept I've shared. And so that's why I'd hazard a guess that if you're listening right now, sure, maybe some of you are brand new, in which case, weird time to jump in, but good for you. Seriously, this is a good time to pay attention. But I'm willing to bet that a lot of you, if not most of you listening right now, you already went through a bunch of this stuff, and you're not the fly-by-night individuals. You're not the tourists. You're the ones that legit get the degree to which this can be truly life-changing. It has been for so many, frankly. And the best is yet to come. In fact, take a look at this from chart analyst Income Sharks. He wrote this. There's two tweets. One's from today, but first let me share with you the one that he wrote on January 7th, because the latest one is a tag onto this. But on January 7th, he wrote the following. And he's got two charts. I'll make the first one full screen here, if it will load. There you go. Income Sharks wrote January 7th this year. Bitcoin. People loved posting the 2018 bearish fractals, but few are posting what happens next. The bullish part. I think a slow bore-you-to-death bottom is more likely than a V-shape. These charts are almost identical, even the dates are so oddly similar. And so, for those of you not looking, I'll just describe what you're seeing here, what is on the screen and what you're not seeing. Bitcoin, this is a Bitcoin chart, price chart, 2019. And he's noting what ended up being the final capitulation. And you can see that after some time, it came on out of there. So just in terms of the chart formation, you can see, I'll switch to the next chart now, and this will be, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I need to hit right. Here we go, 2023. And again, we've got the benefit of hindsight to agree slightly greater than Income Sharks had when writing this. But he had full conviction back at the beginning part of January before it was pretty clear, hey, the party's on. He's saying, no, this looks structurally pretty much the same as what we saw in 2019. You're going to see a move to the upside, and that's what he was indicating on January 7th. He says, the bottom's in. And he's firm on that. That's his position. And so then we got this update, and he wrote today, and he said, I still expect April to be when we see the next big leg. And so it looks similar. And you can argue, sure, we started to see a move to the upside a bit sooner than previously, but it's not that the past literally repeats itself. It just kind of rhymes with itself behaviorally. And so that's the part that I find most interesting here. Chart analyst Kaleo is thinking in very similar fashion. He shared the following with his 564,700 followers on Twitter. He wrote, and this is a Bitcoin chart, bears are using this lower time frame pullback to try and convince you that we're heading lower when it's nothing more than a simple breakout / retest before continuing the send higher. And again, nothing's guaranteed in terms of price action, but it's a good idea to understand various perspectives, historically what has happened, so that you can control your own emotions, because we're all our own worst enemy when it comes to investing in general. It's the impatience and it's the emotions that wreck people more than pretty much anything else. And take a look at this. Just kind of paint the picture, because like I said at the outset of the video, everything is not as scare and terrible as it's now being painted to be. It's just so funny, from like 1 week to the next, all the positive, glowing articles out there, and then bam, you get a little bit of downward price action, and now it's all doom and gloom headlines. Okay. just be aware of it. Just be aware of it because it does emotionally impact people. But take a look at this. Let's live in reality and talk about some data, at least on an institutional level. This is an article from the Daily Hodl titled Institutional Investors Go Short on Crypto Markets as Macro Data Sparks Nervous Sentiment, CoinShares. Digital assets manager CoinShares says institutional crypto investment products were largely shorted by investors last week. In its latest digital asset fund flows weekly report, CoinShares finds that institutional digital asset investment products suffered minor outflows last week, contrasted by major inflows into short investment products. And there's a quote which reads as follows: digital asset investment products saw minor outflows totaling $2 million, although this masks broader negative sentiment as the largest inflows were into short investment products. Yes, it does, but let's take it, because, by the way, that article doesn't mention XRP at all. XRP's sitting pretty. Here's some of the data from the blog that they were referencing to write the damn article. You can see for the week, Bitcoin down $11.7 million for the week on an institutional level. XRP's flat. Okay, flat, yeah, I'd love it to be to the positive, but whatever, it's not $11.7 million to the negative. And even if you look month to date, Bitcoin's down 16.8 million on an institutional level. XRP's up. It's only 300,000, but hey, it's up. I'll take that. But here we have all of the doom and gloom articles. And mind you, so we're talking, yes, on an institutional level. This is short-term price action anyway. Look, institutions, although I do think that they, in a general sense, behave much more responsibly than the typical retail lemming investor, it is always the case that for various reasons, institutions are getting in and out of positions. They're still betting against one another. It's just the case that institutions, they don't respond, generally speaking, to the same emotions that end up coming to the surface as a result of just typical day-to-day price action. It's not, they're not driven by that. It doesn't mean they don't have additional reasons to get in and out of positions based on beliefs and analysis and this and that. But it's a whole different way of approaching the market. And so again, I love to hilariously point. I think it's hilarious. The headlines quickly change, and I'll continue to point it out from time to time. And then I'm just going to show you real data as it comes along, and perhaps I'm going to be happy to keep sharing it on the channel because it doesn't make sense to fall into these scary narratives and think there's no longer opportunity. This is an incredible time to be in crypto. People a decade from now will be like, oh my God, I wish I knew about all this back in 2023. And you listening to this, you do know about it, unless you're a future person, in which case, sorry if you missed out. But the rest of us listening in 2023, well, congratulations and good on you for paying attention to what's going on while most of the tourists have exited. But you know what? There are various seasons of crypto, and the tourists will come back in force. And I'll be happy to sell my crypto at that point as the prices move to the upside. Happy to sell it at a nice premium. But that's the only way you're going to get out of my hands. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.